When the film was first shown in Sundance, which was January of this year, 2012, I mean, it was the biggest audience I'd ever had for a film. It was also the first time I'd ever been to a film festival, so the entire experience was, you know, incredibly overwhelming, and I didn't know what to expect. What I didn't know was that putting a movie out there and, you know, just the distribution process goes many, many months past just, you know, I've made it, I premiered at Sundance, and so every step along this way has definitely been a learning experience. But, you know, the film showed, and I think I didn't move. I was so tense the entire time, and, you know, it opens with a funny story, and the laughter was like so big. I was surprised at how much people laughed at the first, you know, joke, and then I got nervous that, you know, because it was so much bigger than I thought the laughter would be. But that's kind of my tradition now, is that I stay in the film. You know, if I'm doing a Q&A or an intro, I stay until that first laugh, and then I know, okay, the audience is with me, and then I can leave.
因为我们养了好多狗和猫，养了40只猫中呢，有1只猫会开门。如果我没见过这只会开门的猫呢，那我就不知道猫还能够开门，它能跳起来把门把手。
没有单位，我是艺术家。
Film is about Ai Weiwei, who is probably one of China's most famous contemporary artists, and also in the last few years has really become the country's most outspoken domestic critic, you know, really challenging authorities, using social media, and kind of in the same process, both becoming this really big icon for free expression and also running into a lot of trouble, unfortunately, with the government.
I understand you're from around here, right?
Yep, I was born in Philly and I grew up actually in Lower Merion area, so all my high school, you know, piano lessons, basketball team, summer camps, it was all around Philly. So this is pretty exciting for me, I have to say.
How do you get from Lower Merion to China, I guess is the question.
It's a really good question, and it is just as random as it sounds. I mean, I wasn't someone who grew up with a particular affinity for China, and I didn't study China or Chinese in college either. But I did a lot of radio journalism, and my goal when I graduated was to become a journalist and to, I had a dream of doing documentary film. And the way that I decided I was going to do it was to go abroad. That was like my first step. And I ended up going to China with a friend who had family there, just kind of for adventure, and I just felt like it was really the right place, and I ended up staying there for 4 years.
Wow, and meeting Ai WEIWEI.
Yeah, so Ai WEIWEI was also, again, just kind of a serendipitous, you know, way that I came to meet him. My roommate in Beijing, this was in 2008, just after the Olympics, and he helped design the Bird's Nest Olympic Stadium, and then, you know, very openly criticized the Chinese sort of Olympic project and said it was a propaganda, you know, show for the foreigners, and it didn't have anything to do with the people of China or opening up. And, you know, this was kind of set the stage for when I met him. At the end of 2008, my roommate in Beijing was curating an exhibition of his for a local gallery, and she just said, hey Alison, you know, you want to do more film and we could really use a video to accompany the show, so would you want to help us out and come around? And so I was really gift wrapped the opportunity, you know, both to meet Ai WEIWEI but also to be filming him, you know, from day one. And I just felt like he was such an engaging and charismatic figure, and I, you know, wanted to know more, and I really wanted to see where he was going with, you know, fighting censorship and, you know, and all of his art projects. But really, it was really about his personality. I mean, you've seen the film. He really is, you know, you could watch him for 90 minutes, even if all of the incredible things that have happened didn't happen. He's just a really, you know, smart and interesting person.
Yeah, I mean, the most interesting thing to me about the film is, like, here in America, we sort of connect art with commerce. And here's an American educated Chinaman who goes back to his country and he connects his art with social activism. Can you speak a little to that?
Sure. I mean, I think that was something that, you know, I really discovered about his art, and that it's really about how he sees the role of an artist, which is it's about communication, and it's about engaging, you know, with the events of the day, with your society, and kind of trying to bring people in and push things forward. And I think especially in a society like China, where freedom of expression is so, you know, it's so easy to see where it is kind of being limited. And I think it's really important in a society like ours where maybe it's hard to see where it's limited, but it is, there are different kinds of challenges, but there are still reasons why people need to be courageous and kind of need to speak out and find creative ways. But so his example is in a society where he really faces very serious risks, but for him, that's what's important. It's about kind of pushing things forward. That for him is what art is all about.
Right, and his canvas is so wide-ranging. Like, not only does he do like fine artwork that is installed in museums worldwide, but he also uses the internet as part of his canvas. Why do you think that's important?
I think it's about trying to, again, communicate to as many different audiences as possible. He's always been interested. He wanted to be an artist, growing up, and this is something that, he wants to be in MoMA, and he wants to be, he had the Tate Modern, Turbine Hall Commission. It's not that he wants to move away from those, but that's the museum context, and there are plenty of people who you're not going to reach that way, and he's not interested in sort of limiting who he's, engaging with. So when he started to use the internet in 2005. He's in his 50s. He never used a computer really before that, but he just got so excited. This is a guy who documents things and does underground films and underground books. So when you have that kind of interest all your life, and then you get the internet, it's like putting everything on like overdrive, and you get to in real time be like, corresponding with people. You really get to put yourself out there in a different way than the artwork, and I think that really excited him. And so, the other thing about his online persona, I should say, which is a little bit in his art, but more I think in his online persona, is his sense of humor. And I think that's why also, I felt like if you're not laughing, then it's not a good movie about Ai Weiwei, because he really, I think, uses that, and that's partly to engage audiences more, and it, you see he likes to, flip things off or like take naked pictures, but it's all an effort of like sort of pushing the boundaries and getting people interested in him. Some people will be interested because of his incredible artworks that are maybe more mysterious, but some people will be interested because of, a flagrant or funny gesture, and other people will be interested in, a bold statement, and he's just trying to reach all these audiences.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Alison Klayman. From Philly.
Yep.
So we got to support it. Ai Weiwei, Never Sorry. It's in theaters now. And if you're watching this late, you can still track it down by following the Twitter and the Facebook.
自由很奇特的，经验过就会在你心中就会存在了。这个东西谁也拿不走。
你好。
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 Hi, I'm Alison Klayman, the director of the documentary Ai Weiwei, Never Sorry, and you're watching Reelblack.